Hello and welcome to the video for Wednesday, October 14th for After Effects. I'm going to let you guys in from the waiting room. Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, Scooby?
Tired, but doing all right.
Yeah. Are you tired because of fun or work?
Little both. Mainly schoolwork. I was working on a project and I kept going and going. And yeah. But I was having fun while I was doing it, so good times.
All right. Awesome. Sounds good. How the rest of you guys doing? You good, Spike? Awesome.
Yeah. This is Rodney, though. I know he said Spike.
Is that you, Kim? Did you just join? Hi, Kim. Oh, no microphone for Miss Kim. Let's see. I see Kaleo, Jaden, Gabriel, Kim, Jackson, and Alex. Cool. All right. And Luz is joining right now.
Hey, Greg, I'm just checking. Is my mic working? Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you at all.
Perfect. Thank you. That's the answer I was looking for. All right, thanks. It wasn't working on a different class. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, let me get you guys in the attendance here, and then we'll get started. Email.dreamco.com. All right, and then After Effects. Then let's see. All right. So, all right, I got you guys in the attendance. So let's see. Now we have a couple people scheduled for presentations today. So that would be Kaleo and Gabriel. Do you guys both have presentations?
Yep.
Okay, and then
I have mine too.
Okay. Which one of you gentlemen would like to go first?
Go ahead.
You want to go first, Kaleo?
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, let me go ahead and make it so you can share your screen. Okay.
Is that sharing?
It is.
Yep.
Cool. So, admittedly, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with my presentation for a while, but I realized that most things I learned in the programs I thought were neat or cool, I ended up putting into the second project. So I'm just going to show a couple of like tricks and techniques that I used when making the second project. First, I have, my little mascot guy here, Ribeye. And when animating a character in After Effects, the parent and link options are really useful. So for the eye here, it's made up of a bunch of parts. Everything inside will just follow it when you move the outer piece around. But it's also useful for if, well, the main part is moving, going back and forth. If you wanted to make the center move at the same time, make the eye roll a bit. If you place a key point at the beginning, and I already have one at the end, and then in the middle, if you move that up, select the pen tool to stretch out, kind of rolling. Whoops, I did that wrong. The pen tool to create a kind of rolling of, why is it doing it differently now?
Because it always screws up when you do a demo. Trust me.
I did this like 10 times earlier.
Yeah.
I put an extra keyframe somewhere or something.
Yeah. Morning, go ahead.
Okay. The middle. Move that up. Okay, I see what I did. Move that up. The pen tool. There we go. And then just create a path for it to roll. So even as the big piece moves around and the eye is rolling, it will still stay where it should be. within the eye there. Another thing for limbs, like the hands and the feet there, is the anchor point. Before you do any of the animating, you're going to want to set the anchor point so that it's right at the wrist, or if it's the feet, where it connects to the body. So if you wanted it to just have like the finger waggle a bit, all you have to do is just change the rotation value and it'll still stay in place where it should. Same with the feet waggling. It's just a rotation value changing. Another effect that I used, a previous class I took, a video editing class, the teacher gave out a bunch of just blank fog effects that we could just put over whatever we wanted. So an easy thing to do with that, if you wanted to just have that be placed over an image like that, is under mode, select screen, and then the fog will be added over. That's pretty basic, but zoom in a bit. Something else cool you could do with that, if you have a cutout of something or something with transparent section or an image of a head, if you have the fog layer directly above that, under track matte, you select Luma matte and then the name of the fog layer. It'll change it so that when the fog goes over the image, it will reveal that image. So if you wanted to have like a ghost in the background, you can kind of create like a wispy effect over a head. And one other cool thing you could do with the smoke effect like that is I had created a creepier version of this image for the animation. And with the fog layer above that, on the altered image, again, go into track matte, Luma matte, and the smoke fog. Then when the fog goes over an area, I'm just going to quickly duplicate those two layers to make the effect more visible. When the fog goes over an area, it will reveal the altered image. So those are just a couple of effects that I used when creating the second project. So hopefully that was helpful to somebody. That's my presentation.
Very nice. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's cool. That thing about the fog revealing the layer behind it is super cool, and I liked your animation guy. Nice. Can't wait to see your project.
Thank you.
Okay, Gabe, do you want to do yours?
Yeah, mine's in the folder actually.
Oh, you want me to open it?
Sure. Yeah. It's a video. It's not a tutorial. It's more of a inspirational.
All right. Give me a second here. Okay, I'll go ahead and share my screen. I found your folder. So, presentation, this one here.
Yeah, that's the one, the presentation. Sorry.
Good title design should be evocative. It should evoke emotion from the viewer. It should refer to the story or the characters or the setting, and almost incidentally introduce the titles. it's usually the one that it came to me organically from my experience watching the movie.
That maybe they're not really accidents. Maybe they appear to you to be an accident, but it's actually, there's a larger plan that it isn't. I'm very interested in that rather than starting from nothing and creating something completely in a 3D situation.
I'm not your typical designer, if there is such a thing, but I don't come out of a graphic design background. I come out of a filmmaking studies and animation studies, and then I try to apply that. You might not realize that that's actually a job, and the light goes off, and they go, "Oh my God, I want to be a title designer. I totally am in sync with this." I think it's that's brilliant.
Introducing the film and understand you can't do that unless you understand the story, and so that will always live on, I think. What makes a good film title is that you have successfully set the tone for the film. And setting that tone is critical. Doing it in a way that's not boring is a huge bonus. And just getting people excited about that they're about to see. I think that's what's exciting to me, is that challenge. Or if I have to do it at the end of the film, the challenge is trying to keep them in their seats long enough so they'll actually watch through the credits. I like to gauge it by that. I think Iron Man did a fairly good job at that. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
All right.
That's it.
Very nice. Wow, that looked great. So those were a bunch of title sequences that were inspirational to you?
Yeah, and it was very interesting researching this, finding out, how they did it in the old days, and how Hitchcock's North by Northwest was the first film that was actually recognized as having an official title sequence. And, researching into, most people know about Elastic because of their work with Marvel. They do a lot of the Marvel intros. But it was just interesting to see how title designers are actually, it almost reminded me of when I started researching Foley, and I found out a Foley artist was a real job, and found out title designer is actually a real job,
Yeah, those were some amazing sequences. The Expanse, which was a great series. I really enjoyed that. Of course, there's the Game of Thrones intro, right? You a fan of that?
Yeah, I had a short clip of that in there. It might have stuttered through, but it was in there because, yeah, the Game of Thrones was definitely a great, just an amazing intro. And I threw in some 80s ones so you could kind of see the where we dip down into the craziness in the 80s with this one.
Yeah, there's some amazing stuff out there. And what about that one? Did you see the True Detective title sequence?
Yeah, and that's same. I'm pretty sure that's the same guys at Elastic that did that one as well. That company seems to be one of the top ones, and then you get the Pixar and stuff like that. I was surprised because I didn't even know what an animatic was until I took this class, and I was surprised that like the Wonder Woman intro is actually an animatic that I used to watch, the Linda Carter Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's nice to know that that's a job you could actually potentially get, is to make intros or outros of movies, and that After Effects would be a really, instrumental program for doing those.
Yeah, almost. I mean, I researched I don't know a lot of the software, but I mean, from RealFlow to Pixar's own software to just tons of different stuff that they use, but almost everything is finalized and touched off with After Effects. And even some of them, like that show Psych, the entire intro is just kinetic typography, and I thought it was pretty brilliant to be able to make it quick and timely to where if you're watching a series, you don't get bored with having to rewatch it.
Yeah, there's a series. You familiar with Frank Miller, the guy who did Sin City?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he just did a series. I think he did like 1 or 2 seasons of the story of the woman who holds the sword in King Arthur, the lady in the lake. You know what I'm talking about? Well, anyway,
The curse, her cursed.
Yeah, Curse. That's what it is. Thank you. And one of the things that they did, they had their title sequence, but then they figured out how to take scene transitions and use sort of mini title sequences with them, where they have like little sort of animations and things that transition into the actual video of the series. So that's kind of taking it one step further, which is kind of cool. And the series was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. Did you guys watch any of those episodes, Kirst?
I'll have to check it out.
Is it worth? Do you think it's a good one? Would you recommend it?
Well, I thought some things I think are really great. Like I think The Boys on Amazon, that one about the superheroes, is off the chart good. And some things I just like elements of. Like I think in Cursed, I really liked a lot of the elements of it, but I wouldn't put it up there with like Game of Thrones and those other sort of heart-stopping series. But it's definitely got some good elements to it. That's my opinion. Okay, well, nice job, both you and Kaleo. I liked your presentations and lots of inspirational stuff in there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is take a look at your projects. So I've just got this list here of people that are currently in the class, and I usually just go down the list and ask people if they got something ready, and then we take a look at it. So I'll just start up here at the top. So Alex, did you finish your project?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's in your folder?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me go back here. Let's see. Alex. Project 2 MP4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at this. right.
How long is that elevator ride?
I
It takes
have no idea.
a week to get up to the top. Wow, yeah, that looks really great. I was thinking, I just read an article. I think Jeff Bezos's space company just started taking some space tourists up yesterday into the upper regions of the atmosphere, and I was thinking this would be a great place for them to start. Like, you stay at the space hotel, and they pick you up at the top or something and take you straight up. Yeah, it looks really good. What do you guys think? Any comments for Alex?
Very nice. Very slick. Somebody was saying in the chat also.
Yeah, Rachel says great choice of music. Gabriel says that was awesome, great music choice. Love the graphics and editing, really cool. Sick.
Yeah, like very modern visuals.
Yeah, it's very futuristic, cutting edge kind of visuals. The music.
And the music was kind of like hotel lobby kind of music too. It fit nicely.
Yeah, but Luz nailed it too. She said it's very calming, and it was. It like makes you relax. It almost makes you feel like you're actually in a spacecraft, cruising. It's just so calming, Laura says she likes the background and the font. Gabe likes the music. Yeah, I think that the fonts were really effective. Like what he did with the text, the kinetic typography there, the way that it came in and the way that it was presented was very appealing. So yeah, looks really good. All right, let's see. And Gabe says very smooth and clean looking. Very nice. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So next we have Cece. Have you got something, Cece, or did you already do this one? I don't recall.
Oh, which project?
Project 2. I don't know if you already did this.
Oh, the one where it's like staying at a hotel. No, that was already showed, and that was one where you got like the garden and it got all the music got all out of tune.
Okay, not a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, Courtney, have you got one?
No, I'm not finished with mine.
Still working on it? Okay, how about you, Daniel? I see your microphone is on, but I don't hear you.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I got one on my folder.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
We choose to go to the moon.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Wow. What do you guys think?
That was really cool. The
I
music
really like the
transition was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh my
The
God.
cartoon visuals.
Yeah, it almost felt like we were going to see a whole cartoon there. It was really cool. I like the surface of Mars, and how there was like kind of that wavy coloration happening there. It looks so cool. What else did you guys? What else you want to comment on about this?
Oh, the beginning when it was rippling, like you're looking through fumes or gas. That was cool.
Yeah. Was that like a wiggle effect, Daniel, or?
I forgot what was the effect on the. I think it was the blur. I think they have like different types of blurs effects. So it was one of those, but I'm not sure which one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was cool. It kind of rippled the whole screen.
Yeah, I know. I was just playing around, and then I was like, oh, that kind of makes it look more real. So I was like, I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah. So a couple people mentioned that it looks like it took you a long time. Did you invest some time into this?
I actually did though. I remember I started whenever you told us about the project, and I was just like playing like with it during the class, and then I just keep coming back and forth, and then I did the drawings on Illustrator, and then some of them, not all of them. So I did the drawings on Illustrator, and then just transferred the files to it, and then I was just kind of like messing around. Probably I don't know how long it took me, but yeah, I was just putting time every once in a while,
That's actually a really good way to do it.
Yeah.
Is start out early and come back and do it in little pieces, and you end up maybe putting more time into it and getting a more solid project because you keep coming back. You come back when you're fresh instead of like waiting till the last minute and doing the whole thing in one night.
Yeah, that's true. I remember like back in the day, I used to like rush things, and then but I just got the idea that being a graphic designer is gonna be more. You have to be more patient and then put more time in order for you to get better results. You have to put sometimes more time on it. So
Yeah, and it's really true. Like one of the things I notice is if I work on a project, everybody has their burnout point. And if you sit in front of a computer and you're working on a project for a couple hours, you're definitely burned out, right?
yeah.
But then if you can go away and you can come back a day or two later and put in another chunk of time, each time you're approaching it fresh and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, as opposed to just, like we said, waiting and doing it all in one chunk at the end. So
That's true.
It's a good way to work. And it came out really great. Looks really nice.
Thank you, though.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Okay, let's see. So that was Daniel. Gabe, have you got one?
Me? Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the folder. It should say Project 2, Travel Lab.
Here it is.
Not free, honey, but available.
Oh man, that's really great. I love this song.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I like the song too. What did she sing? Recall.
Yeah, recall.
Yeah, I started to hate it after editing on that thing for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
I like that anybody who saw the original is going to appreciate the little cuts you put in there.
Yes, thank you for that, man.
Nice.
Yeah, and I even got to practice the license plate blurring out at the end on the three-breasted woman, because it's not blurred out in the original. So I was like, oh, I'm going to practice one of the techniques I learned. And that was challenging to get it to follow the motion. But yeah, it was interesting to apply some of the stuff we learned.
Yeah, no kidding. And you know, there's people who sit in like Hollywood and all around the world, and that's all they do all day long. They get a chunk of film and they do that tracking where they go through every single frame and move little points, you know, to create masks and eliminate backgrounds and stuff. I mean, just think about, you know how some actors have tattoos and you have to get rid of those, you know, in post-production or whatever, like Angelina Jolie, she's got tattoos, and if makeup didn't take care of them, they probably have to go in post-production and digitally take those out. So you'd have to track that tattoo moving, you know, through the scene, and then do whatever you were going to do to it, put some coloring over it and blur it and blend it in or whatever. So, you know, but there's people, that's their job, that's what they do. It's kind of incredible.
That's the kind of patience that I don't have.
Yeah, yeah, me either. I'd just be like, Angelina, cut it off. I don't have time.
Well, they'll just put her in leather or spandex. But yeah, even just those words moving on the beach,
Yeah.
I spent like 6 hours on that and I still couldn't get it right. So I was just like, I wanted it to actually flow with the waves. And it
I
was
thought
hard
it
to
looked
get
pretty
it to
cool.
match it. But it was good exercise, good practice.
Yeah, it did look really cool. So don't be too hard on yourself. Yeah, and you got some nice feedback in the chat there. So terrific. All right, so then let's see. We've got Hayden in here. Am I pronouncing?
Oh, I'm on my girlfriend's account, so it should say Chris.
Oh, so this is Chris. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So yeah, I didn't recognize Hayden. I'm like, do we have a visitor? You know. So Chris, did you get a chance to work on this project?
It's done. It's uploading right now. It says like 2 hours or something.
It's gonna be a while.
I could
well, maybe
share my screen or.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
that would be great. Let me stop my share, and then you.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, give me 1 second.
Yes, no problem.
I don't know if you could hear that.
I didn't hear anything. I saw some things.
Okay. Can you hear it now?
Not yet.
Okay.
Does it maybe have to do with like headphones or something? Like, are your audio being oh, looks like it's your speakers. Okay.
I have to switch it to something else.
I don't know. Just keep switching it around to see which one works.
Not yet.
You should be able to hear it in your headphones, and then it will hear it.
I'm thinking if you can unplug your headset and play it over there, maybe we can all hear it.
Whichever one's your
Something like
Try
that.
unplugging your headset, Chris.
Okay. Yeah, I can try that.
Nope. But if you want,
Did you hear it that time?
no.
going to dinner tonight.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you guys could hear that last time because I couldn't hear any.
No, we couldn't hear it. Maybe
Okay.
you want to wait and we'll look at
Yeah.
when it's done processing online. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. So Jackson, have you got yours done?
I have not been able to. My computer crapped out on me, and it's just having trouble loading the programs.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, thank you. So Jaden, you're next on the list. Have you got anything to share with us? Not yet? Okay. Joey, I know you just popped in. Have you got a finished project?
Almost done. I emailed about it last night.
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't see that. Okay, well that's not a problem. I'm sorry. Did I respond to you with your email already?
I'm not sure. I haven't checked.
Okay, all right. But either way, that's fine. All right. How about Scooby? Have you got yours done?
Yeah, it's in the folder.
All right, cool.
Are you stressed out at work?
Screen share.
Are technical issues?
My bad. Sorry.
It's all right.
Okay, hold on. Okay, one more time.
Are you stressed out at work? Are technical issues getting to you? Are you tired of not being heard? Having trouble getting along with your coworkers? Do you want to just run away from it all? Well then, good news, everyone. Let Planet Express take you away. We offer affordable yet luxurious vacations to you, the working class folk. Now allow me to introduce our fabulous crew.
Captain Tarangalila. Here. Delivery boy first class, Philip J. Fry. Here. Assistant manager of sales, Benda Bending Rodriguez. Here. Cerveza, por favor.
So let us take you across the universe. We have destination spots just right for you. How does a trip to Mars sound? While there, you can enjoy a tour of Mars University.
Over here is Wong Library. It has the largest collection of literature in the Western universe.
Or maybe you'd like to enjoy some gambling at one of its fine casinos.
This very lucky casino we own. Someone wins $1 million every hour.
Usually it's us. 33 black. Everyone lose.
How about a fantastic journey to Omicron Persei? See the wonderful architecture.
A palace, parapets, battlements, everything my big book of castles promised.
And stop by to greet the cheerful ruler.
I am Lur, ruler of the planet Omicron Persei 8. You are hereby conquered. Please line up in order of how much beryllium it takes to kill you.
Many more exciting destinations await you, so book your trip today. Planet Express is not liable for the unforeseen, including but not limited to death by airlock failure, brain parasites, gamma radiation, being sucked into a black hole, or ion storms. We are not responsible for the loss of property, sanity, limbs, or freedom due to mind enslavement by brain slugs.
Brain slugs.
Brain slugs, yeah.
Gosh, I love Futurama.
I love your whole.
Very nice, John. Liked it a lot. The cuts from the cartoons are really great, and then your animations and everything looked really good.
That Planet Express logo is cool. Did you make that?
Sorry. I didn't make it, but I did all the effects to it.
Yeah, the effects look really good. Let's see. So we got a number of compliments in the chat too, so check those out. Yeah, nice editing. And one thing I wanted to point out was really good difference in volume between your voiceover and the music. Most of the music that gets added to these type of projects is way too loud when compared to a voiceover. And as I've told you many times, you know, don't mix with headphones because that will contribute to that problem. But it's amazing how low you can have the volume of music and still have it be heard in a production like this, because yours was pretty low and your voice was just solidly right out above it, but we could still hear that music. It was still contributing to the atmosphere. So nice job there.
Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was really good. All right, so let's see. So Kaleo, you got yours in the folder?
Yep.
Okay. Should we ask our children to leave the room?
No, not quite. If
Okay.
I had more time,
That
probably
doesn't
yes.
sound too convincing.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay there. I don't know if it's the internet lag or, all right.
I had to think for a second, but it should be okay-ish.
Okay. Fortunately, I don't have too many kids in here, so we'll be okay.
Ooh, yay, more cartoon animation.
The
That
meat
was
grinder
amazing.
guy.
That was so cool.
Thank you.
Wow, just to think about the time you put into that animation, man. It was great.
I'm
That's
really
some
glad that you
dedication.
got to see your meat grinder guy come to life.
Yeah. Yeah, remember back when we were deciding between that and what was the other idea, Kaleo?
I think it was an ad for a world in a game I liked.
Oh yeah, I'm so glad you did this one. That 3D butler guy was off the chart, man.
Thank you. I don't really know how to use 3D programs very well, but I really wanted to like have his head turn, so I had to build that, and it took a really long time.
That's so cool, though. You know what necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, the possibilities with After Effects are just endless, especially if you start using like Cinema 4D and start importing 3D stuff. But yeah, you really did a great job here. So many fun things. the video effects, like the fog that you showed us in your presentation, and then all the cool stuff with the animation. And I thought the music was really good too, because it really fit. It was kind of creepy in a weird way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was happy when I found that just on a like free music site because it fit the mood very well.
Yeah, like Rodney says in the chat, good atmosphere overall. I mean, the combination of the music and the visuals, you know, created that queasy feeling, you know, something just not right here. It made me think of like The Shining, you know, that hotel.
Mhm.
Maybe
Oh yeah.
maybe those were photos from The Shining. I don't know, of the hotel hallway, but kind of creeped me out. But yeah, super cool, and I like Ribeye. He was super fun. So yeah, terrific. Nice job.
Thank you.
The music and the guy, he made it seemed like the little computer guy at the beginning of Wii U that's showing you around.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Very nice.
Was it the hotel from The Shining? Because that's the first thing I thought of.
No, it was just. I mean, it might be. It was just an image on one of the sites.
I guess I don't know. Maybe The Shining is sort of indelibly imprinted on our brains, because whenever I see a picture of a hotel hallway that has any shades of brown or red or in it, I'm like, Shining, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, I always expect Jack Nicholson just to bust out through the wall.
Yeah.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So that was Kaleo. So Kim, how are you doing on your project?
I heard my name. What's going on?
How are you doing on this project? Are you?
It's done. I can't tell you anything about the audio levels though.
All right.
From the one person I showed, their feedback was it was loud, but I know they listen to everything with headphones. So we'll see.
Okay, let's check it out. Oh.
I am Monokuma! A body has been discovered! Better luck next time! During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it. If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. If you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. Heart-pounding excitement! Thrills, chills, kills! I can barely contain myself. Punishment is waiting for you. See you soon.
Nice. All right, what do you guys think?
I like the theme
That
we
was
got.
fun.
I gotta
Last
ask.
one was murdery, and then this one's all murdery. I like it.
Obviously. I gotta ask though, did audio just like disappear or was that just me?
No, the audio was there the whole time.
Okay, so it was just me. Good.
Yeah. Wow, I really thought it was great. I love that little murder bear guy. He's creepy as heck. Yeah, and I like the transition in the middle from, you know, us seeing the beautiful scenes and then everything just kind of stops and the pace switches. It did a good job of matching the music to the different areas. Pardon me. Yeah, and it looked really fun. Now, this is an actual game, right?
Yes.
It looks like it's a pretty fun game. Pretty fun and yet creepy and scary at the same time.
Well, you know, just some casual murder between friends.
Nice. Yeah, well, I thought it was really well done. All the different graphics and the music cues, and I liked how you brought that little black area up so you could type the text in. That was all really cool. And Joey says, very good story and animation, very entertaining. Okay, Gabe said audio was just playback lag, I think, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Rodney said it was creepily fun. And then Gabe said, really cool, amazing. Love the idea of having a lighter black background for text. Really made it look very clean. And Joey asked if you drew the bear. Did you draw the bear?
I didn't. I went through it. I cut out the sprites. So that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looked like a lot of fun to make this video. So good work.
The combination of the text and the popping in of the bear speaking every once in a while felt very video game to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good. All right. Good work, Kim. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I got to link all my friends to it.
All the ones who are still alive, you mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's see. So, Laura, have you got something? Did you finish this project? Oh, let me see. So, are you there right now, Laura? Oh, you have one? Okay, so let me check in your folder. So yours is Atlantis, I believe. Let's see. All right, project 2, that's what it looks like down here. Okay, here we go. Let's check this one out. Wow. What do you guys think of that one?
Very peaceful, and yet,
That was very pretty, but also just a little concerning.
yeah.
Yeah. It was like, don't worry, we think you'll come back alive. I like that text right there. The music was such a good fit, wasn't it? It's it perfectly fit the sort of peacefulness that you imagine you would get from traveling underwater. And then of course, which is shattered a little bit by those monsters. Let's see, it says Joey says, well done, the music just sets the feeling of Atlantis. Alex says, nice, felt like a storybook. More great music. Yeah, the music was definitely a star in this production, along with the beautiful graphics and those creepy monsters. The monsters were really great too. And I like how you tied all the imagery you had available together, like the illustration of Atlantis and the Power Stone and the monsters, and then the scenes of the coral. I like how it moved between still graphics and videos and things like that. It was all very smooth. So good work. It was really fun. Let's see. And Gabe says, very nice, flowed very well, and love all the added disclaimers we have. Also, text color boxes were cool. Yes, good point. Thank you, Gabe. All right, very nice. Let's see. Now, next we have Luz. Luz, have you got something that we can check out?
I'm not finished yet.
Okay. Then we'll go down to Rachel.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
It's in the folder.
Got it. Rachel.
Everybody knows when there's a year, and there's no reason. The season always has to lie. Everything you and they will try. Everybody knows when there, and I'm on my way to Cuba. That's where I'm going. Cuba, that's where I'll stay. Cuba, my wine is flowing, and we're dark eyed Stella, like the Stella Cuba, we're always happy. Cuba, we're always there. Why don't you clown us? Wonderful friends I have found. I'm gonna give an old see you, Take your friends and fight, drinking in the cellar isn't nice. Anybody who has got to cry should be just human. Have you been longing for the smile that you haven't had for quite a while? If you haven't followed me an aisle, you'll know where.
All right, what do you guys think of that one?
Yeah, that was perfect. And I like the wavering sort of the way the pictures wavered a bit.
Yeah. There were so many elements of that just it was really layered. I mean, there was the wavering, and then there was the sort of what you might call noise that was over the top of it, the film marks and everything. There was that weird yellow glob that came in every now and then, and there was the music way down there, and then the sound of the projector. I mean, when you think about all the layers of visual and audio, it really had a big effect on you, a big impact on you, because it all kind of gelled together to produce this one presentation. But it affects your senses in so many different ways, the sound and the visuals. and the emotional component of it. So I thought it was really effective. Let's see. Gabe says, really great. Love the music choice. Alex liked the style. Joey says the sadness of computer limitations.
Thank you so much for the feedback.
Yeah, and Joey says, wow, the animation that surrounded the text was so perfect for the feel of the video. Yeah, it really did. I mean, it was a really good, when you match things together like visuals and audio, it's called marrying them. And that was an excellent marriage, really very good. And then here's a comment from Laura about hers. She said, I wanted to do more with the effects and use my drawings, but my disk is full and After Effects wasn't working at all. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Laura. Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing your drawings, but maybe you'll be able to do some of those on the next project. Okay, yeah, but very good job. Well, both of you guys did a really nice job on that. All right, so let's see what else we got. So let's see, Spike, you're still working on yours, right? I don't know if you're still there, Spike. Yeah, okay. And then Rodney, how about you? Have you got one?
Yeah, I still got that one. I didn't extend it though and do it any longer.
Oh,
but
is it one that we've seen already, or?
yeah, it's the one that you see.
And you didn't do anything new to it?
Besides what I just did when I just showed it to you days ago, because I've worked in between those days.
So okay, so I'm not quite clear. Should do you want us to watch it again, or do you feel like we've already seen the?
No, you already seen it, but I can work over this weekend and put, do some extra touches and then show it to you.
That sounds good. Thank you. All right, and Yuri, have you got one for us to see? Let's see. Are you there, Yuri? Okay, maybe he stepped away from his computer for a second. All right. So my little list here changes every time somebody speaks. They go up to the top. So I'm never really quite sure if I got everybody, but is there anybody who has one that we haven't seen yet? Okay. All right. Well, if you do have one, for whatever reason, like you're still working on it, or maybe there's a technical problem, we can go ahead and check those out on Monday. So, but for the ones we did see today, great job. There was a really, wide variety of choices and techniques, different music and graphics and kinetic typography and lots of imagination. So good job. I thought they were really fun, really good. Well done. Okay, so let me go back to the class website here. So what I wanted to do now was work on a little tutorial, which is called Repair Video. And so if you go to the class website and you click on this link right here, it's going to take us to this website that has 3 different tutorials on it for repairing video. There's our little Volvo again. We're not going to blur out the license plate this time. We're going to do something else. But so what we'll need to do is grab the files and start up After Effects. So I'm going to go ahead and start mine running here. I'll close up Adobe Animate, so I got plenty of room. And then you'll need to click here to get your files. And looks like the first one we're going to do is stabilize shaky footage. Now, some of these tutorials we do, you have similar tutorials in your book. And please don't forget to do the lessons in the book. Try and do one a week so you can have them all done by the end of school. But it's good sometimes to do the same type of lesson a couple different times with different footage, just so you sort of reinforce how it works. Because sometimes when you do a lesson just once, you just kind of do the lesson and then you don't remember anything. You don't take anything away from it. Okay, so I'm starting up After Effects here. I'm going to close this window. And then we'll see how my download is doing. Well, good question. How is my download doing? Let's see. So I gotta go here. and then repair video. Okay, it's expanding that. Okay, so it's not that one. Let me see now that it's expanded if I could see where it is. Wow. Usually it just pops right up, so that's pretty weird. All right, I'll find it though. A few dozen more tries.
Hey,
And
Spike said he keeps getting disconnected, so that's why he was out.
oh, okay. Not a problem, Spike. Thank you. Okay, I'm not sure why my repair video isn't coming up. Let's see, it's not going to be in this folder. It's not going to be in that folder. So I guess I just have to check my downloads and see what the hell's going on. All right, come on, you silly machine. Oh boy, frustrating. Okay, let me see if I minimize some things. Minimize all 12 million programs that are open. Oh yeah, maybe I can close this damn thing. It's probably eating up a lot of memory. Or maybe I'll close it the old-fashioned way with the old Macintosh force quit. Yeah. All right, just give me a second here to close like 30 of these silly programs, and then maybe my computer will start working right. Okay, let's see. Give me a Finder. I would really feel good about that if you let me see my Finder. Oh man, such a bummer. And then Animate, you were supposed to close. Let's see, where are you, Adobe Animate? Let's close that. All right. Remind me later. Come on, just close, damn you. All right, meeting encoder, let's close that. Just quit. All right, come on, Finder. No, we don't want that. Disagree. New Finder window. There we go. Okay, so downloads. And this is called repair video, so it's got to be in the R's. P. There it is. Finally. Oh my God. Okay, so you'll have two in there. Double click on the 2018 one because that's the newer one. That will unzip that. And then that will open up, and I believe it looks like all three of the files are in there for all three examples. So, okay, let's try this first one here.
We all know that production can sometimes be a challenge. So it's nice to know there are tools that can help you out when things don't go quite as planned. The Warp Stabilizer VFX tool in After Effects happens to be one of the best when you have that shot, but it's just got a little too much camera shake. To preview our clip, I'll click once in the timeline and then press the space bar to begin playback. And sure enough, this footage is very shaky. So I'll press the space bar to stop playback, and then press the home key on my keyboard to make sure the current time indicator is on frame 0.
Okay, let me stop that for a second. I always forget that if I try to preview those damn animations in Firefox for some reason, it doesn't allow me to stop them. So I have to go, I have to bring them up in Chrome, or else I can't actually stop the videos and restart them again. So now I'm in Chrome, so I'm good to go. And I'll just.
We all know that production can sometimes be a challenge.
Now, while it's playing,
so it's nice to know
let's go
there
ahead
are
and
tools
open this
that can
file.
help you out when things don't go quite as planned. The Warp Stabilizer VFX tool in After Effects happens to be one of the best when you have that shot, but it's just got a little too much camera shake. To preview our clip, I'll click once in the timeline and then press the space bar to begin playback.
Okay, so you can click your space bar and you'll see, you know, this kind of wavy, unstabilized footage happening. Let's see. Now, if your computer is running kind of slow like mine, notice what resolution it's playing back at. Right now it's full. And if you go to quarter, it should play back a little smoother. Yeah, okay, well, After Effects, stop being a pain in the butt, will you? Oh, God, all right. All right, let's go back to the video here. All right.
And sure enough, this footage is very shaky. So I'll press the space bar to stop playback, and then press the home key on my keyboard to make sure the current time indicator is on frame 0. Let's select the layer in the timeline, go up to the animation menu, and choose Warp Stabilizer VFX to apply the effect.
Okay. So we click on this. Let's see. Where is Warp Stabilizer? I forgot what he clicked on. Ah, here it is. So click on Animation, then come down to Warp Stabilizer VFX. Okay, and let's go back to our video.
Once applied, the effect immediately starts analyzing the clip. What's nice is the fact that it's analyzing this in the background, which means I can go to any other composition in my After Effects project and continue to work as this analysis occurs in the background. If I want to see a status update as to the progress, I can just go to the top of the Effect Control panel under Warp Stabilizer VFX, and you'll not only get a status, but you'll also get a rough estimate as to how much time is left for the analysis. Once the analysis is complete, all you have to do is press the spacebar again to preview the stabilized shot. I don't know about you, but I think that's a pretty drastic difference. Let's press.
Okay, so you guys can try that on your own once yours is done. Looks like mine just finished. Of course, my computer's being a pain in the butt today, so if I hit the play button, it's probably going to be pretty slow. Oh, it actually worked. Oh my God, I'm in shock. But you can tell that is a huge improvement over that crazy shaking that was happening before with this footage.
Press the spacebar to stop playback and look at some of the settings in the effect. Under stabilization, let's start in the result area and click on the drop-down menu. Smooth motion is a setting designed for when the camera is actually in motion. For example, a camera that's on a dolly shot. Since this camera was static in one place, except for the camera shake, let's choose no motion. Notice the shot will automatically be stabilized again and no analysis will be required.
Okay, so now we're going to switch it up. Right up here where it says smooth motion, we're going to change to no motion. It's going to change the effect.
Now, under the method options, click on that dropdown because subspace warp is the default. And subspace warp works by looking at each individual pixel for each individual frame over the entire duration of the clip. And it stabilizes the shot pixel by pixel. Let's choose position from the dropdown and then press the spacebar to preview that.
Okay, so now we're going to make another choice. Obviously, you have different choices. You can stabilize the, footage for different reasons or from different aspects like position, scale, and rotation, or in this case, just position. So go ahead and press that button. Bring your playback head back to the beginning and hit your play button. Wow, that looks pretty jerky to me. Let's see.
And you notice just with position, you'll get a fair amount of distortion that happens within the shot. So I'll press the spacebar to stop playback again and go back and change the method back to subspace warp.
Okay, so let's change it because the default obviously grabs every aspect of it and stabilizes it.
Now, just to understand how much this shot has been stabilized, under the framing dropdown, let's click on that and choose Stabilize Only and press the spacebar to begin playback.
Okay. So framing, notice that it stabilizes, crops, and auto scales. Let's do Stabilize Only. You can see immediately that some of this black is coming in, which is showing, you know, the cropped footage. And then if we hit the playback again, look at how the crop is just kind of moving around out there, right? So he's just showing you how much this program actually did for you, just by leaving the defaults pretty much.
Now you can see the edges of the footage dance around the scene. So you definitely have a much more clear picture as to how much stabilization has been applied to the clip. I sometimes like to do this just so I have a better understanding as to how much the image is changing. I'll press the spacebar to stop playback and change that setting back to stabilize crop and auto scale.
Okay.
Whenever you choose a setting with auto scale, you can just go to the auto scale area to see exactly how much it's magnifying that clip. Anything under about 120% is usually relatively okay. When you start getting above 120%, you might start to notice the image get a little bit soft. So the next time you have that perfect shot, but the camera was just a little too shaky, you know you've got things covered with the warp stabilizer VFX effect.
Okay, so, pretty much this tutorial was just taking shaky footage, applying the warp stabilizer, and the defaults of the warp stabilizer just did a great job. And for in your case, that might be the case as well if you have shaky footage. But he went through and showed us what each one of these functions does, so that you can see if you need to make a change, and to get your footage to be correct, you can go ahead and change these options. Okay, so now we're going to go down to the next one right below this. So let me skip down here, and it says fix exposure issues in video. So that's going to be this other After Effects file here. So you don't have to save that last one if you don't want. Okay, there's our friendly Volvo again, Volvo station wagon. That's a nice one. Let's go ahead and watch this second video.
Before you ever consider stylizing video footage, it's always wise to make sure you're starting with the best image quality. Whether it's overexposed or underexposed, chances are you're probably losing information. So in this tutorial, we're going to fix both an underexposed and overexposed shot using the Lumetri color effect. Let's start with the underexposed shot. In the project panel, double-click on the underexposed composition and then press the spacebar to begin playback in the timeline.
Okay, so if you look down here in your timeline, you can see already that there's two files already open here. One's called underexposed, one's called overexposed. So it looks like we're already on the underexposed one. Notice that it's at full resolution, so I'm going to change mine to quarter and hit my space bar. And of course, underexposed means there's not enough light in the footage, so everything looks kind of dark.
You can see the clip is underexposed and it lacks contrast. So I'll press the space bar to stop playback here for a second, and I want to draw your attention to something. Notice how dark the image is right now at 4 seconds and 6 frames. If I click up here in the top part of the timeline towards the beginning of the timeline, notice up here around frame 0 how much more bright the image is. Part of the challenge with color correction is the fact that shots change over time. So sometimes you actually have to keyframe the effects. Now, before we get into keyframing, let's just apply a basic adjustment at frame 0 here. So I'll go to the Effects and Presets panel, click in the search area, and type Lumetri, L-U-M-E-T, and sure enough, there's the effect. To apply, click on it and drag and drop it right into the composition panel.
Okay, so we have to find our effects and presets, type L-U-M-E-T, and Lumetri should come up. Click on that effect, drop it right on your footage here. And now our effects are going to come up, our effects controls are going to come up over here in the left.
Go to the Effect Controls panel, and all we need to do is open the Basic Correction area. Now we can fix any of the exposure problems happening in this shot within the Tone section of this effect.
Okay, so let's open Basic Correction. And he says everything we need is right here in the tone section.
So I'm going to scroll down in the effect controls panel to pop the tone section up a little higher in our view. Starting at the top, exposure adjusts the brightness of all of the pixels across the entire image. Contrast adjusts the difference between the lightest and the darkest parts of the image. So a higher contrast makes that difference wider, and a lower contrast makes that difference less. Highlights adjust the bright part of the image, but not the absolute brightest. That's the whites area. Same goes for shadows and blacks. Shadows adjust the darker parts of the image, and the blacks area of the image contain the absolute darkest pixels. Now, to make a quick adjustment, I'm going to go ahead and click the auto button here in the bottom of the panel. When I click auto, it does a pretty good job, but you notice this area here is extraordinarily bright.
Okay, so this is kind of like Photoshop and levels. You've got that auto function, right? So we can click auto and it actually does do a really good job. Make sure you're at the beginning. You can see now this kind of looks overexposed over here.
So let's look at some of the adjustments that got applied. So let's go back and fine tune this initial auto adjustment. Go to the whites area and let's drag that to the left to bring those levels down just a little bit.
Okay, so you can see based on the numbers in here, because it all used to be 0, what was applied by the auto level. So white is at 3, and we want to take that back down to 0. So that will take some of the white edge off.
Now for personal taste, I think this image looks a little flat. So let's add a little more contrast into the scene. Go back up to the contrast, click and drag to the right to add more.
Okay, so his contrast, we're going to add 22, make it 22. So click on that, put in 22 and hit enter.
You should also notice that this is going to make our colors appear as though they're a little more saturated. Overall, I like how this image looks, but if you remember, as the camera moves, the image changes over time. So we need to add some keyframes. Go to the Effect Controls panel and start with the exposure setting. Click on the stopwatch and hold your mouse down as you drag through all the rest of the different settings in the tone area.
Now, this is why After Effects has been called Photoshop with a timeline. In Photoshop, you can do things like change the exposure or the white point, auto levels, and that will change the whole photo. And of course, the photo exists at one moment in time. But in something like this, where you have changing values, you have to set keyframes to get your values to be at one point, and then you change them at another point. So as he's saying, make sure your playback head's at the very beginning. Click and drag your mouse over all of the options here, all the stopwatches, and it will set the keyframes for everything to be exactly that at the beginning of the piece.
So we've just keyframed our initial adjustment. Now move the current time indicator down the timeline until we get to an area where the image is significantly darker. I'll stop right here at 3 seconds in the timeline.
Okay, so he's doing this based on his judgment, and we'll trust his judgment and go down here to around 3 seconds, where the Volvo's in shadow, so things change as far as contrast and everything.
Now let's go back to the Effect Controls panel and click the Auto button one more time to add our second keyframe.
Okay, now because whenever you click your stopwatches on, it automatically sets keyframes wherever your playback head is. But then, since the stopwatches are on, if you make another change, somewhere down the timeline, it's going to automatically insert new keyframes. So if down here we click on auto again, it's going to resample the footage, change all these values, and then it's going to make a keyframe for that. So it'll basically change over time from that first setting to the second one.
Press the spacebar to preview the clip, and as you can see, our color adjustments look nice and smooth over the entire duration of the clip.
Okay, let's go ahead and watch this now. Yeah, he's right. It looks good. And you can tell it looks better than the very flat footage that we had before. Flat as in no contrast and not good lighting.
Press the spacebar to stop playback, and let's look at how we can address the overexposed shot. Since the composition has already been opened once, we can just click on the overexposed tab here in the timeline.
Okay, so go over and remember, when you're working in After Effects, you have your main composition, but you can have all of these mini or nested compositions as well. And you can open as many of them as you like, and they'll stack up here on your timeline. And right now we have another one called Overexposed, so click on that. This is the shaky footage we saw before.
We need to apply our effect, so go to the Effect and Presets panel and drag the Lumetri color effect right onto the composition panel.
Okay, so first Lumetri, it's still showing up over here, so we can just drag it onto there. Now we're going to get our settings. I'm going to assume we're going to open basic correction and work here in the tone again.
With the effect applied, go back to the Effect Controls panel and open up your basic corrections. Make sure the tone area is open, and then click the Auto button to create our initial adjustment. Well,
okay. So Auto.
While this made a pretty good adjustment, I think the contrast is a little much. So go back up to the contrast area, click and scrub to the left to soften that up a little bit. Now we can press the spacebar and preview our shot.
So it looks like he took the contrast to -46. So I'm just going to click on that and type -46 and hit enter. And that kind of smooths everything out a little bit.
Overall, I think this looks pretty solid. And since it's an evenly exposed shot, we don't have to add any keyframes. Now, if you find yourself having to make corrections to a lot of footage, you should consider getting a color calibrated monitor and using the color workspace so you can monitor the video signal coming out using vector scopes. But that is definitely a workflow requiring deeper discussions. For fixing exposure problems in After Effects, the basic corrections section in the Lumetri color panel is a great place to start.
Okay, so hopefully for you filmmakers, that will be really helpful. He used Lumetri to do two types of issues, to fix two types of issues, overexposed and underexposed footage. And of course, he showed you how to do the keyframing and the auto levels. So that's super helpful. Okay, now the third and final one, enhance the color in your video. So let's open that one. It's called Repair Color Issues. Okay.
Adjusting the color of video footage can be viewed as a technical process or a process designed to help set the mood and create the feeling in a shot. I'll start things off by coming over to the right side of the timeline and scrubbing with the current time indicator. So click on the current time indicator and drag back and forth across the timeline to preview different areas of the image.
Okay, once again, I'm going to set mine to quarter so that it gets, well, of course, mine, when I scrub it, is no good because at quarter resolution, I just get a lot of pixels. So it's better for me to just hit my space bar and hit play. And what I'm looking for, I mean, since this video is called color correction, I'm trying to see, what he's going to want to color correct or how he's going to want to color correct the image. So, the only thing that I really notice is that big white ray of sunlight in the middle there and how that may affect things. But he may feel like it's too dark. He may feel like it's not saturated enough. Let's see what his thoughts are.
And you can see no matter where I am in the timeline, I've actually got kind of a cool shot. There are lots of green pixels and lots of blue pixels. Now I'd like to warm this up to make it look a little bit more like sunset in the evening. To do that, I'll select the layer in the timeline and go up under the Effect menu, go down to Color Correction, and choose Lumetri Color.
Okay, Effect, Color Correction, and Lumetri Color. So click on it, go to Effect, Color Correction, and Lumetri Color. and it opens those up. I believe it's the same process that we did before, but just a different way of getting there.
Let's work in the basic correction area. So open up those options and then go down to the white balance area. Notice it's divided up into 3 sections. If you don't see white balance open, make sure to toggle open the triangle.
Okay, so we're going to open basic correction. It looks like white balance is open for me.
Now the white balance selector is kind of special. If you had a shot where there were clearly pixels that were supposed to be white, say someone wearing a white shirt, you could click on the eyedropper and then click directly on the white pixels in the composition panel, and the white balance would automatically adjust to make those pixels white. Since we don't have anything like that in this shot, we're just going to use the temperature and tint settings. So I'll start with temperature. If you hover over the parameter and click and drag to the right, we can scrub and that'll warm up the shot. The further you go to the right, the warmer it will get. Now I think this is a little too far, so I'll bring my temperature setting back to a setting somewhere around 120.
Okay, so this is kind of fun to do. Click on temperature, click on it and drag it to the right. I'm gonna have to drag mine all the way over here to 120. Or 121, and let me also zoom out of my scene here, right? So now, of course, my pixels are, quarter resolution, so they're really kind of crummy. But if I go to full resolution, you can really see that and how nicely that warmed up.
While this looks okay, let's see if we can make some more adjustments with tint. Now the tint area isn't adjusting the white balance in the shot, it's actually adjusting the difference between the magenta pixels and the green pixels. So if I click and drag to the right, I'm making the image a little more magenta. If I click and drag to the left, I'm making the image a little more green. Let's go ahead and drag to the right, and we really don't need a lot of this to just warm up the shot. So I'll set the tint setting to 7.
Okay, so those of you who have used the color balance slider in Photoshop will be familiar with a process like this. So, with temperature, dragging it to the right will warm up and it will bring in the yellows and the oranges and the reds. Dragging the temperature to the left will cool it down. And same with the tint, we're gonna go magenta on the right and green on the left. So change this to a setting of 7. You should see a little more of the red come back into your photo, and it does make it, this does make this photo come much more alive. It's much less cold than it was in the original footage.
Now, if we scrub through our project, you can see we've definitely warmed up that shot. Now, I think I like how this looks, but honestly, I find whenever I'm working on something as subjective as color adjustments, it's sometimes wise to get up and walk away from the computer for a little bit. Just creating that small break can often give you some fresh perspective before creating your final output.
Okay, and that's it for the third tutorial. So once again, if you want to keep any of these tutorials as reference, just save them on your computer. You might have a folder called After Effects Tutorials. Then you can open them up. If you forget how things were done, you can click on the links on the website and go back to the tutorials. But it's good to have these little tools in your toolbox. Like today we learned about stabilizing shaky footage. We learned about color correction here. We learned about, overexposure and underexposure, correcting those. So those are all really handy tools to have in your toolkit. Okay, next one I wanted to do, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the third project. And I actually wanted to give you guys a voice in deciding what we would do for the third project. So let me tell you that, let me stop my share here real quick so I can just talk to you guys. So the third project that we did last semester had to do with the pandemic because it had just hit. And so I asked people to, to do a project about the effects of the pandemic on their life, right? Now, for you guys, I mean, obviously now 6 months later, we're right in the midst of the pandemic, but I want to give you guys a choice. Are you interested in doing that project as project 3, something about the pandemic? Or is there something else you would rather do? Would you rather do a music video? Would you rather do a short 2-minute film? I mean, why don't you guys give me some feedback? What sounds good to you guys?
What were the options again? Maybe make like a straw poll or something of the different options.
Yeah, so well, the options are wide open, so you guys are welcome to propose something as well. Keep in mind that you know, you're not purely doing a film project. It's going to have to be something that has After Effects involved in it. So you're going to want to, you know, add some special effects to it somehow. So, you know, options that I can think of just off the top of my head are things like you could make a music video, you could make sort of a slice of life, you know, video. It's, you know, where you follow somebody around in their life. You could make an, you know, an abstract video where you just, you know, show colors and designs and set it to music. You could take a scene that you're working on for another class and add music and special effects to it and take it in another direction. You know, there's the original pandemic idea. So what do you guys think? What are which one of those strike your fancy, or what suggestions have you got?
I kind of like the idea of doing some sort of abstract video related to the pandemic.
Okay, so we got 1 vote for abstract. Rachel also likes the idea of abstract. She says we all seem to like scary horror in this class. Maybe we can do something like that. Okay, what if we gave you guys the assignment that you could do like a 1 to 2 minute abstract video, but then you could choose the subject matter. So it could be about horror, it could be about the pandemic, it could be about your life, it could be, could be a music video just done with, you know, using abstractions. What do you guys think? Do you like that idea?
What is considered an abstract video?
Well, abstract is anything that is not straight ahead, normal. So in other words, abstract could be where, I'll give you an example. Remember Kaleo's video with the meat grinder and the hotel?
Yeah.
Remember when he showed like those meat grinders at the end and the fog was kind of coming up through them? That was,
okay.
That was something of an abstract image, right? So, you know, it would give you guys a lot of freedom to do really whatever you want visually and audio to do an abstract video. So let's see. So Rachel says not linear. Gabe likes the idea. All right. So maybe we put it, abstract sounds fun. Kaleo says. So what do you think? Are we good with abstract?
I'm down.
Okay. All right, cool. So that's going to be the next project. So what I would like you guys to do, I'm going to give you the rest of the class period here to think about this. Why don't you write down, you know, an idea or maybe a couple of ideas that we can choose from and give you feedback on. Write down, sketch out some ideas of what you think your abstract video might be. And then we'll take a look at those. You might write them down on like, type them on Microsoft Word or something like that and throw them into your folder. And then on Monday, we'll take a look at those ideas and give you some feedback. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, why don't you guys go ahead and do that. I'll turn my video off, but I'll still be here if you guys have questions.
Cool.
All right, thanks.